This conference will now be recorded.
If you've just dialed in, please be sure and mute your phone so that we don't end up with any background noise while we're giving our initial speeches. You can unmute whenever it's time for questions. Also, please don't put us on hold. If you have background music, it will play into the conference call. Is Delanne on the call?
I have.
Yes.
Here she is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes. In the event that Marty does not call in, we may ask you to give us some recap on the battery conference that the two of you attended.
Sounds good.
Okay. Give it just another minute or so. Okay. 101, we will get rolling. I wanted to welcome everybody to the call. I'm not sure, this is my very first one to lead as president, but this is probably about our 8th or 10th call that we've done since we kicked this off last year. Just like to thank you for calling in and listening. My name's Chad, Councilman Automotive Recycling in Mobile, Alabama. I'd like to remind you of our antitrust reminder associated with all of our meetings that we put on with ARA. We're not to speak disparagingly about anybody or make any kind of price references or anything related to costs and prices. And that the entire antitrust alert is available on the screen for you right now to read. And I'll give you just a few seconds to look over that. Anybody have any questions about it? All right, we will get rolling. I'd like to turn over to Scott and Sandy and Jessica to kind of give us some update on what's going on with some legislative stuff that we're expecting.
Hi, for those that don't know me, I'm Scott Robertson, the first Vice President of ARA, and we were at SEMA and AAPEX and CIC a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas, and we heard that they will be proposing about 20 new legislative bills in various states around the country proposing OEM repair procedures. We take this very seriously. This is a real threat to our industry. It's a threat to people's choices and how they repair their vehicles. And while we were out there, we met with the Auto Care Association. We met with Tom Tucker. If the Auto Care Association, for those who don't know who they are a not-for-profit trade association based in Bethesda, Maryland. And the Auto Care Association has nearly 3,000 members in affiliate companies, and they represent approximately 150,000 businesses that manufacture, distribute, sell, and install motor vehicle parts. So they are a big player, and we are teaming up with them and some other associations to try to fight and ward off these OEM repair procedures. And Sandy, and you or Jessica have anything before we have Tom Tucker come on and give us an update?
Well, I can tell you that we've already heard of one in New Hampshire, and this morning, Jessica and I and several people sat in on a hearing in Washington State where they're also have that proposal on hand as well. Yeah, we are gearing up. I know it's going to hit pretty hot and heavy, and we're thankful that we have Tom Tucker and the Auto Care Association and so many strategic partners to help us with this as well. So I'm going to leave some time for Tom because I think Tom has a valuable message for our members here. You're up, Tom.
All right, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. As Scott and Sandy have said, this is an interesting time in the industry, and probably the biggest issue facing the industry right now at a state level is the issue of the OE procedures bill. These bills require the repairers to follow the repair processes or procedures by the OEMs. Now, on the surface, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that at a generic level. But when you delve down a little deeply, what that really means is that it becomes an aftermarket or recycled parts ban for all parts that are not OEM parts, and that is a problem. It's a problem for consumers. It's a problem for aftermarket or recycled parts companies or associations. It gives the OEMs a monopoly on the market. And what's even more interesting, the OEMs are becoming increasingly more aggressive in their public statements, critical of the use of any parts that are not OEM parts. Right now, Hyundai has a statement out that says that Hyundai does not recommend the use of aftermarket or imitation recycled collision repair parts. Nissan has a statement out that says that the use of original parts by Nissan are designed and built to provide optimal fit. There's a lot of noise.
Yeah, well, somebody, I think Paul may have your phone unmuted. Try to mute it if you can, Paul.
Nissan has a statement out on a position statement on the use of non-OEM parts on Nissan vehicles, basically saying that the original parts used by Nissan are designed and built to provide optimal fit, function, safety, and structural integrity. And for this reason, Nissan North America does not approve of the use of any aftermarket, remarket, or imitation parts. And Ford has a statement out that says the use of aftermarket imitation of collision parts to repair collision damaged vehicles raises concerns about warranty and quality. These are increasingly bold statements with no data or anything to back up that the use of aftermarket or recycled parts poses any threat or to the structural integrity or safety of the vehicle. This past year, there were 14 bills across the country, and fortunately, working closely with the recyclers, the retail associations, and other companies and associations, including the insurance industry, we were able to defeat all of those bills. However, that's not without, it hasn't been without its challenges. 14 in 2019, 14 bills introduced across the country. Compare that with 6 bills that were introduced in 2018 and 2 bills that were introduced in 2017. As Sandy said at the top of the call, we can expect to see perhaps up to 20 bills this year. There have been 4 bills pre-filed thus far, 1 in New Hampshire, and we do expect a second bill in New Hampshire, a cleanup bill in Rhode Island, and there's already been talk of a bill in Michigan, and there was a hearing this morning in Washington State on a draft bill. And so this is November, and we're already seeing 4 to 5 bills for next year. We can expect that 2020 is going to be just as busy, if not busier than 2019, where 14 bills were introduced. And what we're going to need is all hands on deck to not only come out and tell your story of why this is a threat, not just to the industry, but to your business, but why this is a value to consumers. And we have a compelling story to tell, but we need everyone to tell their story. Sandy, Jessica, and I, we go and talk to legislative officials all the time across the country, but I will tell you they would much rather talk to you as a consumer, as a constituent, because you are where the rubber meets the road. You provide the jobs, the tax revenue, and you're in the community. But this is the issue. We are hopeful that we will work even closer this year with the partners in the coalition, and we need your support from start to finish. And with that, I'd open up to questions, but thank you for having me.
I'd like to go ahead and let you know, too, that ARA is planning to have a meeting with the Auto Care Association and Tom Tucker sometime in December at their office in Maryland. in order to prepare for what we're going to do at our legislative summit in January. We are having a legislative summit on January the 8th in Nashville, where we're going to be trying to educate and prepare statements, talking points, discussion topics for each state to use as they work to combat this in their own state. This will be fought with a grassroots effort, which means a lot of the recyclers will be called upon to make phone calls to their representatives or senators or whoever may be voting on in the committee hearings associated with this. And so if you do get a phone call from somebody saying, hey, we need you to make 25 phone calls tomorrow to tell this legislature to vote no on a bill, then that's going to be what we need you to do. That's how we're going to have to fight it on our end. It's going to be grassroots. We also need membership in order to have funds to help with lobbyists and travel expenses and all that's associated with trying to fight these bills. And so if you're not a member of ARA, we challenge you to sign up and be a member of ARA, and also to give any donations towards the legislative efforts that we need, because we need to raise as much funds as we can in order to fight this year. Do we have any questions for Tom while he's on the call? He will be getting off the call soon.
Has ARA put together any kind of a bullet point outline that we can use to speak to our legislators directly?
Yes, thank you for asking that. I was just about to make that point. This is Jessica. We do have an ARA position statement on the topic that was approved by our Government Affairs Committee and our Board of Directors earlier this year, and that is up on the website. And then we also have about a page and a half of various talking points. And I believe that's under resources, but that has been made available to all of our affiliate chapters, and we can send that out again to the membership. But we have a lot of talking points. There are tips on how to interact with your legislator about this issue, and we have template letters as well.
Thank you.
Can we also get copies of the 14 bills that were filed last year, just so we can start to build a reference database?
Yes, we can put those together.
We had a question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we have a question that chatted in saying, is there anything we can do now to head off these before they even get started?
Our best bet is going to be to kill it in committee, I would think. Tom, do you want to touch on that?
Sure. I think it's a two-part strategy. I think one, I think it's very important that everyone has a relationship with their representative and senator at the state level. When we go into the hearings, oftentimes we go into different states. We're relying on contract lobbyists and or the businesses that work there. And so if you have a relationship with an elected official in a state that has a bill that we know is coming, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Michigan, Washington State, then it would be beneficial to start having conversations early. But secondarily, while we can have those conversations, they're really not going to focus too much on it until there's actually a draft of a bill that they can look at and assess what you're saying versus what the bill is saying. But one of the things that's important for all of us is to start building those relationships at the grassroots level with our elected and appointed officials, so they know who we are. The benefit of that is when they see a bill, they will call you and ask your opinion rather than what we're doing now. We're going to them, educating them. We need to educate them before we get to the state capitals.
Yeah, Tom, I think it's smart if probably to reach out to your representatives now, maybe schedule a meeting, maybe you can meet with them at their office, or even better, have a site visit at your place of business. Most of them have no idea what we do or how we do it or what we do. And hopefully we're going to be meeting with some other associations in December to draft a game plan on how to combat these OEM repair procedures. And in January at our legislative summit, we're all going to brainstorm to try to come up with the best defense that we can do as being recyclers.
I'd like to throw another strategy out there. Find out who your representatives are. Follow them on Facebook. Follow what they're doing. They will announce when they're making appearances at town halls and things like that. And go there and see if you can shake their hand and look at them eye to eye, so that when you do call on them, they will know who you are.
Great point.
This is critical, and if you're on this call, you're probably a proponent for our industry. You're looking to try to do what you can. So we're telling you that that's what you need to go do. You need to go proactively do that now in the next 30 days in the month of December, because it's going to hit the ground running in January, and it's going to be a strong fight for 6 to 8 months.
Chad,
Sure,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Chad, I was going to ask you, do you have your chat window open? Can you see the questions as they come in?
I have it covered up with notes I'm reading from. You
BR
want to go ahead and read one?
Yeah, BR Auto Wrecking chatted in and said, how do we feel about the yourcar.yourdata.org? Would we advise our members, should we be pushing our teams to sign the petition? Do we know enough about that to comment? I've looked at it a few months ago.
Tom, I believe. Yeah, go ahead, Sandy.
Yes, we do encourage people. We actually push that up there. I put that up there several months ago. The data issues are becoming a really big thing, and I don't know if Tom's still on, but he can probably address that as well. But we have joined a couple of data groups. One is a global data group. But we feel that the data that's in our vehicles belongs to the owner of that vehicle. And of course, that is the person who purchased that vehicle. And of course, we know there's a lot of data out there that's being used by the OEs as well as other people that's coming right off of the vehicles today. So we definitely believe people should sign those.
And sure, this is Tom Tucker. The Your Car, Your Data is the Auto Cares initiative, but is an industry-wide initiative. And if you take a step back and think about the vehicles of today, with ADAS, embedded software, connected cars, they are collecting reams of data. And as Sandy just said, and it's one of our main talking points, the vehicle manufacturers are very adamant that they own the data on your vehicle. Even though you bought the vehicle, you're paying for the vehicle, you're insuring the vehicle, any data that's generated on the vehicle, they feel they control it. And the threat to the industry is they can then monopolize not just the data, but then send they have a competitive advantage over independent recyclers in sending that data to their franchise dealerships for service. And so consumers the aftermarket will be locked out, period. And so I certainly would encourage you to sign up. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Appreciate your help there, Tom. We're going to move on to the next point. The ARA convention was about a month ago now. I'll give you some details on that. We had 821 recyclers in attendance. We had 144 booths that were occupied. It would put us well over 1,000 people total in attendance. We had 42 sessions that were led. We had member meetings, and we had the Ladies of ARA meeting. There was a post-convention trip that was led by Andy Latham. Vince actually went on that trip also. A total of 9 recyclers were on the trip. They visited a total of 6 different facilities, and they also visited the Vanderhaeg's Yesterday's Memories and Truck Museum. And so that was an exciting time for them. Really good convention, a lot of education, a lot of positive feedback we had from it. We've used a little bit of negative feedback to make improvements for next year's. And so we already scheduled next year and working on putting it all together. It's going to be in Reno, Nevada, next year. Sandy, I'd like to turn it over to you to talk about ROE.
Okay. Well, as many of you know, we did file for and were awarded the trademarks for not only just ROE, the initials ROE, but also ROE, recycled original equipment. We have been awarded those trademarks. It is now up to us to provide proof to the trademark office of use, which we have done just this week. And so once that comes back to us, which we should see probably in the next month or so, we will be able to actually put the R in a circle after those trademarks. So, the whole purpose of that was to define what we do as an industry and make sure that we're protecting the integrity of the automotive recyclers the parts that we're putting back out into the marketplace.
And I believe that logo is available on the website where you could download
Yes.
it and use it at your own business. Is that correct, Sandy?
Yes, you can use it. All we ask, since it is a trademark, we open it up to any ARA member to be able to use that, and we actually encourage you to use that and add it to your logo. We just ask that you send us a picture of how it's being used or how it's appearing on your website. So the more we get it out there, the more advantageous it is for our industry.
Yes, and it is actually, when you log into the members portal, you'll see, along with some of the other items like your invoice, update your member record, there's a new item called ARA logo, and it's right there.
Okay. Appreciate that, Sandy. Vince, I'd like to get you to give an update on what's happened on the road in the last 45 days or so.
All right. Well, as Scott mentioned, we were at SEMA and AAPEX and CIC a few weeks ago. That was a very productive week for us. Probably one of the most productive and exciting things that came out of that was our partnership with Tom Tucker and his association. We're looking very much forward to how that's going to develop. And also, we had a fantastic brainstorming with them where we began to examine what other industries that we could reach out to that are kind of parallel industries, or even in some ways maybe a little competitive, but our interests when it comes to this kind of legislation dovetail very nicely. So now we've begun to compile a list of other businesses and industries we're going to reach out to and see how many we can get together to fight this damaging legislation altogether. So we had about 24 meetings with vendors and businesses while we were there. We attended the collision industry conference, which was very interesting. They had a big session on OEM repair procedures, where they even featured the family from the lawsuit out of Texas. Somebody help me out with that.
The John Eagle lawsuit, the $42 million verdict against the body shop for faulty repairs.
They had the family on stage, kind of a town hall setting with seats and question and answer and telling their story. It was very compelling. It made me understand how sensitive we need to be when we're discussing this issue out in the world, because we need to make sure that people understand that we are all about safely repairing vehicles. We just feel that the recycled original equipment that we all offer are suitable and acceptable parts to be in that repair process. So that was a great week. I came straight from that and went to New Jersey. New Jersey had a meeting, their ARA New Jersey meeting, on that Saturday after the SEMA week, and Rodney did a fantastic job. Yeah, I think I don't know if he's on the call. I hope he is. But 3 years ago, I think he had his first meeting, or he had a meeting, and he said he had like 10, 15 people. Last year they had 33 people, and he said his goal for this year was 50. He had 54. So if you see Rodney, give him a pat on the back. It was a well-attended meeting. The topics, it was it was very interactive, and New Jersey is building steam. They're a great organization. They're a great association. So I really enjoyed being there. Last week, Chad and I were in Texas. We attended the TARA conference. That again, hats off to Vanessa who put that together. She did a fantastic job. It was again very well attended, and we really enjoyed being there and talking to those guys. I actually was in there about a day or so early and was on the road visiting several recyclers. And then many of them showed up to the show, so that was great. That was well worth my time. We signed up 6 members. It was a combination of new members. I think 4 of them were new members, and then 2 of them were members whose membership had lapsed for a few years. So that was great for us, and we were very happy about that. So it it's been a very busy fall. A lot of conferences, a lot of shows. But I love being out there. I love seeing you guys. I love interacting with you guys face to face on Facebook, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that in the months and the year ahead. So that's all I got.
Well, we also had the Colorado meeting. I know that neither one of you, we didn't attend it. I know Sandy was there. Sandy, you want to give an update on the Colorado meeting?
Yeah, our Colorado meeting was basically not really a meeting. It was the hybrid and electric vehicle training. We had Andy Latham come in for that training. We had 22 people registered for the training. It was an all-day training program. Everybody was very excited about the quality of training that they got, and so I didn't hear anything bad about it. Everybody was really surprised that we didn't have more people show up for it. And so, yeah, it came out very well. And Andy always does a good job. And we had a great day.
Okay. All right. Moving to the next point, we also attended a battery conference in the Chicago area. Marty and Deland attended it. Marty, are you on the call? Didn't ever hear you call in.
I saw him on the list. There he is.
You're on? Okay, give us an update on what happened at the Resale Battery Conference up there.
Well, me and Deland were there. It was a 2-day conference, and basically it was hosted at Argonne Labs, joint effort with the Department of Energy, doing a feasibility study on the ability to see if it's going to be feasible to recycle the lithium ion and hybrid batteries to recover the elements in them, mainly lithium and cobalt. Well-attended event. There was people from the scientific industry from all over the world, basically. And like I said, they're doing a study now on recovering these elements and being able to recycle these batteries. And again, they were all Deland. Well, I don't know if Deland's on the call, but we did a 15-minute brief keynote, and we talked about our industry and what we are and what we do. And again, there's a disconnect. None of these people really had an idea of what we do, and it was well received, well attended event.
Okay. Thank you, Marty. John, I would like to give an update on ARAU.
Yeah, it'd be great. So as I hope you all know by now that the ARA University is a direct member benefit, and I'll mute my other phone. And so it's available to any ARA member free of charge. And we've started the process of revamping modules. And if you're not currently using it or you've got interest in using it, please call the office and we'll get you worked up and squared away on how to start using that to train your staff, educate your staff, and just make each facility a better place. And so doing that, we are working with the group to put some of those modules together. We're working to get some of the OSHA modules put on there as well. But one of the big things that we were pushing for is to get our vendors to submit things and modules to the university in order to just kind of be the one-stop shop for knowing what to look for. If you had a question about a vendor or a service within our industry, you could go to the university platform and you can kind of get the basic rundown of what you're looking for, and then have contact information to reach out to those vendors and those service providers to kind of get the rest of it. But one of the things that we wanted to kind of do is we have had so many people reach out and just say, yes, I want to put my data on there, and yes, I want to submit a module, and that's great. But we need all those vendors, and if you're on this call, December 1, we really like to get your stuff by December 1st to go ahead and get it ready to be uploaded and put on the university so we can start the 2020 having those modules ready to go. So December 1st is kind of the deadline we're looking for any vendors or service providers that want to put a module on there as a deadline. I think that's reasonable, and we're excited about it, but we do need to make sure we have deadlines in this industry or reached all, like we do in our own lives. We put things to the back burner till the last second to get them done. And so if you're on this call and you're a vendor, or if you've got a vendor that you know of that would be a great asset to have their material on the university, get them in contact with us and we'll make sure they get their stuff onto the university platform. Other than that, we had a good session at ARA, and Dan Snyder provided some really detailed information about how he uses the university to better his companies. And so if you have questions about that, once again, reach out to the staff, and we'd be happy to maybe get you in contact with a member who's using the university. If you're just kind of stuck about, I have the university, I have my people on the university, but I don't know how to efficiently use it to train, we'd love to pair you with one of the yards that are using it, and just get you up to speed on that. So is that good, Chad?
Sounds good. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Jono. Shan, you give us an update on the mentoring program?
Yes, thanks, Chad. Just like the ARA University now, ARA offers a mentoring program that I hope you all have heard about. At this point, I'd like to say we think and feel strongly that the first year of the program was very successful, and we're enrolling those looking to be mentored as well as those willing to mentor fellow recyclers for 2020. So currently we have 8 people signed up for the program, and we will be matching the mentor-mentee pairs in the coming weeks. At the moment, we need a few more mentors to step up. So if that's something that you feel that you'd be qualified to do, please reach out to any member of the EC, or reach out to staff at ARA headquarters. Mentoring is available to any auto recycling facility owner or manager just looking for a fresh perspective on their business strategy and daily business operations. You're based on criteria, just looking to make a successful match between the mentor and mentee. ARA facilitates that the pairs are not competitors, yet they have similarities in YMS, buying practices, and other factors to provide the best fit for both parties. So just reach out. The deadline is December 15th. We want everybody that's interested to have the opportunity to participate. It's so important. Sometimes just having that lifeline to reach out to get a different perspective makes all the difference in the world. So please reach out to any one of us. We'd be happy to get you on the list and get you paired up with somebody.
Thank you, Shan. I'd like to let everybody know, too, that we have meetings planned in January. You've heard us already reference the Legislative Summit. That's going to happen on Wednesday, January the 8th. The day just before that, Tuesday, the 7th of January, we're going to have a strategic planning meeting in Nashville also, same hotel. And that's going to be a limited attendance by invitation type event where we've got the board of directors and leaders of the committees and a few other select individuals going to be working there. And we're going to be working to develop a plan for where ARA is going to focus on for the next 3 years. And so it'll be a 3-year plan that we put together on that Tuesday. The day before that, on Monday, I guess that's January the 6th, in Nashville, the executive committee will be meeting there at that time. And our plans are to host our next town hall event on that Monday, January the 6th, from Nashville while we're there with our executive committee meeting, kicking off the 3-day event that we're going to be doing in the Nashville area. And so just keep everybody up to speed on that. The next town hall will be a legislative focus. Knowing what's going on with legislative issues in 2020, it will have a legislative focus. That concludes what we had to talk about. We'd like to open up the floor for anybody that has any questions related to anything we've discussed. Need to unmute your phone if you're trying to talk.
Hey, Scott and Sandy, just real quick, and maybe you did this and I may have missed it. I don't know how I could have, but I might have. Just so everybody's aware, what is Tom Tucker's role in the auto care?
Tom Tucker is the director. He's the Jessica of the Auto Care Association. So he's the director for their state legislative issues.
So and we talked about how we really needed to make sure that, hired guns are great for some things, but our presence individually, I know that's what they used in the New England area to work on those bills. In Connecticut and Rhode Island, I know also tried to defeat these kind of bills. But is there a way that we have at the national level, the areas we know the bills are going to be dropped, do we have a breakdown of districts of our yards with who represents them if people maybe are ignorant about their local representation? Because, I know, and the crazy thing is, when you look at the U.S. Congress, those guys, they need to be educated, but the local people are the people that have elections that are like 2000 to 2005. The outcome is within a margin of 10 to 20 people sometimes for some of these seats. And that's where I think we do have an opportunity to make a massive difference if we get out there and meet these people and have a voice. So Is there a way we have anything in the headquarters that we could break it down?
We do have some tools, and we did change our legislative tracking for this coming year. So we will, I think, between what we already have on place and with some of our strategic partners that we're working with, we will be able to cover all those bases. Yes, Jono.
And we also have access to a tool that gives us facilities, so automotive recyclers that are located in districts of key players that on certain committees, and that we may be reaching out directly to certain recyclers, letting them know that they are sitting in a district that is pivotal, and they've got to be activated to activate some grassroots efforts. And so we will be using that tool and reaching out to activate that also.
And
does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, the one comment I'd like to make is we really, if you're in a state, you definitely need to reach out to your state chapter and make sure that they're aware that ARA is on the ground helping with this. We did have some issues in Washington where the association was a little late to the game, and you know, we can't really have that. We've got to be able to activate recyclers on the ground. So ARA will definitely reach out to any ARA members that we know of on the ground in those states, and in particular if we have some states that don't have affiliate chapters of ARA. But we definitely need the affiliate chapters to know ARA is here to help. We'll give you materials that you need. We'll help you with anything that you need. You just need to reach out to ARA and let us help you.
And coordinate with the fellow associations that are going to be helping us also. So you'll know who the lobbyists are in your area that are helping us. A lot of times there'll be a hired lobbyist that will walk you around and introduce you to people, and you'll be the face of the industry. And so be prepared for that option also. Does anybody else have any questions for us? All right. Well, we appreciate your attendance, appreciate your time, and reach out to each of us individually if you have any questions or issues related. Otherwise, we will see you in January from Nashville. Thank you.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.